Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. This week we will be reviewing Neil Shusterman's Scythe. If you've been enjoying this content, please do not forget, like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you guys do not miss a video. If you guys missed my last video, which was my review on Frank Herbert's Doom, I will leave a link to that video up in the cards. Down in the comments, if you guys have any books you want me to do reviews on in the future, please do not be afraid to leave those down in the comments. As always, format for the book review, summary of the story, pros, cons, and then my final thought and ranking. So, with all that out of the way, let's hit the intro. This story takes place in a futuristic society where death has been completely eliminated, and an order of what they call Scythes has risen up and has become the bringers of death for the world. So our main protagonists are two kids named Rowan and Scythe who have been chosen to become Scythes by the same master. So because our two protagonists have the same master, it causes a really big problem. After the last of what they call the Enclaves, which is a big meeting of all the sides, whoever is decided to join the Scythedom will have to glean, which is their euphemism for killing the other. So the final enclave comes around, Rowan and Scythe are ready to get into their final battle, and Scythe finds this loophole way to get out of gleaming Rowan, which I will discuss my big problems with in my con section. Kicking off the pro list, we have the moral complexity that this book has. With a world without death, this group of assassin killers has risen up to kill people themselves. This really, I think, brings up a big moral point. Who would want to do this? And what sort of mindset do you have to become a Scythe and be willing to become executioner, quite literal? There is really two sides to this moral question that this book poses. There's Scythe Faraday and what the book calls the old guard, which are these traditional Scythe, the guys that say, you should not enjoy this. This is needed, but you should not enjoy this. On the other hand, there is this new guard type of Scythe that are complete psychos and really enjoy the power that they are given. It's really gone to their head. And this book, I think, does a really good job showing that moral complexity between the two ideologies. This book just puts forth a really interesting question and explores this to a really good degree. And what's also interesting is there is not a clear divide between the old guard and the new guard. There is somewhat of a stark divide, but there are a couple of characters that go back and forth from thinking which ideology is right. Honestly, I really think that is a great idea. I don't love the whole, there is a straight moral line split down the middle. I like it when there's a bit of moral gray on either side. So this book really speaks to me in its moral complexity. Starting off with pro number 2, we have to talk about our main character, Rowan. So I really like Rowan because of the arc Shusterman has him on in this book. Because after Rowan and Scythe get separated, Rowan goes to the leader of the New Guard, and he trains Rowan to be this absolute monster of a killer. And it's very interesting. As we see Rowan's training go along, he starts to really buy in to the New Guard's ideology. We are Scythe, and we can do whatever we want, and no one can really say anything about it. So the reason I really do like Rowan's arc so much in this book is because he doesn't blindly follow the new ideology. He really buys into it and becomes such a really good Scythe, but he never, at his core, he never really takes that step and becomes that ruthless killer his master wants him to be. He gets really close, but he never fully goes there. And this really is most exemplified. His section of the book, right before the final duel with Scythe, his master takes him on this absolutely insane assignment to what they call the Tonist, a church. They do something incredibly crazy, and Rowan realizes, like, these guys are psycho, and I should not be with them. And he finally just breaks away from that ideology. Shusterman had been building Rowan leaving the ideology and starting to question it throughout the book, but that is the one moment where Rowan definitively says, no, you made me this elite Scythe killer, but I am never going to become you. Pro number 3, I'm going to talk about Scythe and Rowan as a pair of characters. I really like how Shusterman wrote Rowan and Scythe's dynamic. It's not a regular dynamic because the two of them both know whoever the Scythe chooses to join the Scythedom, the winner is going to have to kill the loser. And it's such just a ticking time bomb in the back of their head that because of the time bomb that's about to go off, they can never really get too close because they know one of them's gonna have to kill the other in the end. So what's the point in them getting close? But even despite that, Rowan still makes an attempt to get to know Scythe, which I really think is a good idea. There is a slight love dynamic from Rowan's end, but it never gets too annoying. It's always balanced by the idea that I'm going to have to kill the other if and when I win. I really do feel like Shusterman did a really great job with their dynamic. I love the whole idea of the ticking time bomb in the back of their heads. Their chemistry together is really good, even despite that time bomb. So I feel like Shusterman really did a good job writing the two of them as characters together. So for pro number 4, I'm going to talk about Scythe. I really do like Scythe as a character. As she develops during her training under Scythe Faraday and under her second master is really good. Because under her second master, she starts to see Rowan under his own second master become that crazy elite Scythe killer. And in the back of her mind, she's like, what you've done is insane. If I win, I am completely justified in killing you. And that sort of moral dilemma, like, she does really like Rowan, but she sees what he's become and she's like very willing to accept that if she becomes the Scythe, to kill him. And that moral dilemma really colors her entire part of the book, and it is really good. Personally, I like Rowan's arc a bit more, but Scythe's is extremely well done. Starting off the con section, we have to talk about this book's ending. I'm going to go through the 2 main points that really make me hate this ending. 1, Shusterman completely undercuts his moral complexity he'd been setting up the entire book. Scythe finds a way to just give Rowan immunity from being killed. Like, you'd been setting up the winner having to kill the other one the entire book. Why would you undercut that by having Scythe figure out a way to save him? Like, why would you undercut that? That makes no sense to me. He's been building up this conflict all book, and he just undercuts it at the last second, and it drives me insane. So, second point why I really hate this ending is the wasted opportunity Shusterman could have had if he actually had Scythe go through with killing Rowan. Like, you could have just shown the mental toll that killing a friend would have had on her. You could have had such an really interesting to see her deal with the PTSD of killing Rowan. But no, he had to find a way to get Rowan out of being killed, and it drives me insane. Going into the sequel, you had such a perfect setup of just a moral, crazy roller coaster, and then you undercut it. Why? Why did he do that? I have no, earthly reason why he would have done that. And it's not like that isn't interesting. Reading the Hunger Games, Katniss has PTSD effects from all of her time in the Hunger Games. It's not like doing an arc like that doesn't work. It does. But Shusterman wanted to find the easy way out, and I feel like it really makes the book suffer in the long run. Final thought on the book here. Despite the ending, I really do like this book. All the moral complexity and stuff is super interesting, and the characters are really interesting to follow, and all their moral dilemmas that they have to deal with. It's really good read, but it's undercut by the ending. If the ending would have been different, this book would have been really great. So, despite the ending, I'm going to give Scythe an 8 out of 10. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. If you liked the video, please do not be afraid. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss the next one. As always, down in the comments, if you guys have book recommendations you want me to do in the future, again, leave those down there. Also down in the comments, if you've read Scythe before and you want to discuss, leave your thoughts down in the comments. Alright guys, we are going back to the Percy Jackson universe next week with Heroes of Olympus Book 1, Lost Hero. Have a great week, and don't forget, keep on reading.